Hey guys, DiabloManDan here. In today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how I am making over 200,000 gold a week with Tailoring and Enchanting in patch 11.1. Yes, it does involve some setup, and yes, it does involve some work, but overall it really has made a difference in how much gold I make, and more importantly, it makes WoW pay for itself every month. I'm going to go through this quickly so I can get it all in without having an hour-long video. If you are curious how I got my character to this point, check out my 0 to 2 million gold challenge playlist. In it, I start a fresh, brand new character at level 1 with no gold, no professions, and get it to 2 million gold. This would be the way I would do it again if I had to start over today. With that said, let's get into it. Let's go over the tailoring profession setup first. At this point in the expansion, you'll want to have the tailoring skill level at 100 with all rank 5 blue profession equipment. That's not all. You'll also want to have both a Multicraft rank 5 tool and a Resourcefulness rank 5 tool, both enchanted with the Resourcefulness enchant. You will also want to have the Severed Satchel bag, which increases your unraveling yield by 1. For the tailoring specializations, you will want to have 30 points into quality fabric, as well as 30 points into weaving and unraveling. You want 15 points in textile treasures, 30 points in less is more, and 30 points in extra threads. With that set up, you'll spend 135 points, and that'll be the minimum you'll want to be at to get this going. I also put 20 points into threads of devotion to squeeze out that extra bit of resourcefulness when crafting items to disenchant. If you have the extra points, you can do this, but if you don't, that's okay too, since it's really just for plus 15 to resourcefulness. Now, let's look at the enchanting profession setup. Once again, you'll want to have 100 skill level and all blue rank 5 accessories. You'll also want to have the rank 5 runed null stone rod epic tool with resourcefulness, also enchanted with resourcefulness. This one also has a bag, the magically infinite messenger bag, that'll buff your shatter essence even more. For the enchanting specializations, you'll want to put 30 points into designated disenchanter, 30 points into uncommon utilitarian to disenchant greens, and 30 points into rare resourcing to disenchant blues. You want to put 30 points into supplementary shattering and 30 points into resourceful residue. This will buff your shatter essence, so it'll give you more resourcefulness. With that setup, you'll spend 150 points to get this going. That's more points needed than tailoring, but it's easier to get enchanting knowledge points since you can get it from disenchanting. With the setup done, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this. Buy as much cheap weaver cloth as you can. As you can see here, I bought 5,550 weaver cloth for roughly 156,000 gold, just over 28 gold each. What we are going to do now is turn all of this cloth into spools with unraveling. Before we do that, we want to use the Vial of Quick Hands in combination with the Weaver's buff. That will maximize your crafting speed at 75%. The good news is the Vial of Quick Hands is pretty inexpensive to buy from the auction house. Getting the Weaver's buff is pretty easy as well. Just head to Ashkahet and choose the Weaver for the weekly. The other important file is File of Bountiful Seasons, which gives you more resourcefulness during the winter season. This will change back to Finesse on June 21st for the summer season. I have only been using rank 2 since it costs a lot more for rank 3s. If you want to squeeze as much resourcefulness as you can, then rank 3 would be the way to go. I recommend using these files before you do any crafting. With unraveling, make sure you use the Resourcefulness Tailoring tool. This will put your resourcefulness up to 29% when using a rank 2 file. You can also hit 30% if you use a rank 3. I'm not going to make you sit here and watch this entire process unfold, as it does take about 13 to 14 minutes to do. We were able to unravel all that cloth into 18,865 spools. Now we want to turn all of those spools into weaver cloth bolts. Before we can do that, we have to buy a ton of moss wool thread. I used to calculate how much thread I would need before buying, but now I just buy a ton at a time because I know I will use all of it at some point. We need 6 thread for every 10 spools, so we'll need roughly 11,000 moss wool thread to process this. I ended up buying like 20,000 of them. Now we want to craft all of this into bolts. Make sure you switch your profession tool to the Multicraft tool, since weaver cloth bolts can take advantage of Multicraft. Always double check this because forgetting can cost you some gold. With the Multicraft tool, my resourcefulness drops to 23%, but my Multicraft goes up to 20%. This part is a nice AFK crafting time if you need to get away from the keyboard for anything. Heck, you could even just do this part and make a profit from selling the weaver cloth bolts on the auction house. It really just depends on the price of weaver cloth and the price of bolts. Okay, so now we spent about 23 minutes crafting all the bolts and we ended up with over 3,000 bolts. I did buy more weaver cloth from the auction house when I wasn't recording, which is why I got almost another 500 bolts here. Not sure what I spent on the cloth to get that though. Anyway, now we are going to craft Pioneer's cloth cuffs to be disenchanted. Since my bags are always full of stuff, I usually craft these in batches of 90 to 100. You want to make sure you have at least a couple of open inventory slots after crafting. You'll also want to be sure you are using your resourcefulness tailoring tool so we can possibly get bolts back. As you can see, my resourcefulness is at 33% when crafting these. Crafting these doesn't take long at all, maybe 3 to 4 minutes. You'll want to create a disenchanting macro to make it easier and faster to disenchant. Here's the one I use. Feel free to grab it and use it. I use it for disenchanting both the cuffs and chef's hats. Keeps it easy for me. I put that on one of my main buttons, so I just have to hit that button to disenchant. I do have to still click to loot, but I'm not sure if there's a way to legally do it without clicking to loot. With disenchanting, it's important to know that only your enchanting skill level is taken into account. All the other profession stats will not affect your disenchanting. In a perfect world, I would have a blood elf be my disenchanter since they get 5 more enchanting skill levels as part of their racials. I ended up doing 4 rounds of crafting and disenchanting the cuffs. The disenchanting part takes the longest to do. That took about 20 minutes or so to do all 4 rounds. Now we have all these gleaming shards from disenchanting the cuffs. We want to turn most of these gleaming shards into storm dust that we can use to craft exquisite weaver cloth bolts. Here's how we do that with enchanting. First thing is we want to shatter essence to give us the extra enchanting resourcefulness buff. I always use crystalline powder as it's the cheapest to buy from the auction house. That gets our enchanting resourcefulness to 41%, which is helpful for the next step, which is gleaming shatter. We don't want to gleaming shatter everything here. We only want to gleaming shatter the rank 1 and rank 2 shards. The rank 3 shards can be sold on the auction house, or you can keep them for your concentration alts. We'll get more into that later. After shattering all the rank 1 and rank 2 shards, I use the rank 1 storm dust for crafting exquisite weaver cloth bolts, and I keep the rank 2 storm dust for my concentration alts. Once again, if you don't want to do concentration alts, you can sell the rank 2 storm dust on the auction house. Now we head back to tailoring, switching your profession tool to the Multicraft tool and craft exquisite weaver cloth bolts. I started out with crafting 750 of them since I was needing some more rank 2 storm dust for my concentration alts. Crafting 750 times gave me 1,124 exquisite weaver cloth bolts due to the Multicraft procs. From here, I decided to craft some weaver cloth chef's hats to disenchant since I still needed more rank 2 storm dust for my concentration alts. You could leave this out and just sell the exquisite weaver cloth bolts if you want to. I ended up doing 3 rounds of crafting and disenchanting chef's hats, and that gave me 200 rank 3 storm dust, which I just end up selling on the auction house, and around 300 rank 2 storm dust, which I keep for my concentration alts. Taking a look at my warband bank, I cap out my rank 3 gleaming shards at 600 and sell the rest on the auction house. I also have 1,100 rank 2 storm dust for my concentration alts, which still isn't quite enough yet. I usually end up having to have about 1,700. I end up posting the 200 rank 3 storm dust for 20,600 gold and the 55 rank 3 gleaming shards for 7,900 gold. I also start posting smaller stacks of exquisite weaver cloth bolts. I tend to sell them in stacks of 200 to 350 depending on how fast I get undercut. I usually come back a couple times a day and check on them and post more if needed. I keep crafting exquisite weaver cloth bolts until I run out of rank 1 storm dust, and then I go back to crafting Pioneer's cloth cuffs until I get enough rank 1 storm dust to make the rest of the exquisite weaver cloth bolts. If I run out of regular weaver cloth bolts, I go back and buy more weaver cloth. and start at the very beginning again. I do that over and over again until I have enough rank 2 storm dust for my 7 concentration alts. I'm usually good with about 1,700 rank 2 storm dust and 600 rank 3 gleaming shards. Any extra gleaming shards I sell in the auction house, along with the rank 3 storm dust if I've been disenchanting chef's hats, which I don't always do. If you don't have concentration alts, you can sell all the storm dust higher than rank 1 on the auction house, along with the rank 3 gleaming shards. That brings us to the enchanting concentration alts setup. I make each one of them earthen so I can use the 10 to 70 in 1 hour 20-minute skywriting route. If you haven't checked that out yet, I have a video with the entire run. It really makes it a breeze to level up alts to 70, especially for concentration. I pick up enchanting and get their skill level up to 100 and get them all the rank 5 profession accessories and tool. Mine all have the rank 5 epic profession tool, but you can also use the blue tool here instead. The important thing is that the profession tool has ingenuity on it with the ingenuity enchant. We want to get as many ingenuity procs that we can. As for specializations, we want to research and decide on which enchant you want to craft before putting any points into everlasting enchantments. Find out which enchants are selling well and for a profit. For Monopoly A, I decided on going for the Radiant Haste Ring enchant. I do just one specific enchant per alt. It keeps it simple that way. So with the Radiant Haste Ring enchant in mind, I put 30 points into Everlasting Enchantments, 20 points into Arathor Alterations, and 20 points into Extenuated Accessories. I also put 30 points into Supplementary Shattering, 30 points into Immaculate Ingenuity, and 30 points into Resourceful Residue. I do buy and use the File of Bountiful Seasons on my concentration alts too for that extra resourcefulness. I also buy rank 2 Forge Framework to give a boost to ingenuity. I either buy profane tinderboxes outright from the auction house to use, or I buy either the Gloom Fathom Hide, Vial of Kaheti Oils, Viridian Charm Cap, or Ringing Deep's Ingot, whichever one is cheaper. You can sell 3 of those to the vendor to get 1 profane tinderbox. For example, the profane tinderboxes on the auction house are 258 gold each, when I can buy 3 Gloom Fathom Hides for 225 gold. That saves a bit of gold. This used to be a lot more important when tinderboxes were around 2,000 gold each, but can still save you a little bit of gold. Now that we have all the mats we need, we want to shatter essence to get the ingenuity and resourcefulness buff. Next, we will craft our enchant. Triple check to make sure you have applied the enchanting concentration in order to craft rank 3 enchants. After I added in my Forge Framework, I get my ingenuity to 42% and ready to craft. Okay, we only got 1 ingenious breakthrough, so we can craft 1 more rank 3 enchant. Luckily, we also saved a tinderbox too, so we won't have to go back to the auction house to buy 1 more tinderbox. It would speed up this process a lot if I would have already purchased all the tinderboxes I would need for all 7 of my alts and put them in the warband bank. Now I list all the enchants on the auction house and move on to the next alt. That's pretty much the same process I do for each one when crafting. Okay, now a few hours have passed. Let's see if we sold all the enchants or if we need to cancel auctions and relist. Monopoly A doesn't have any new mail, so let's start there. So yeah, didn't sell any of them, so we're going to have to cancel and relist. Sometimes that's all it takes to get a sale or two. Monopoly B sold a couple of enchants but still has a few unsold auctions we need to cancel and relist. Monopoly C sold everything. Now I can show you what to do after they sell everything. I head over to the Warband Bank and deposit any gold over 50,000 into the Warband Bank. I do that with all my concentration alts. The Warband Bank is currently at 2,040,994 gold before adding in the 28,000 gold. I keep 50,000 gold on them just so they have some gold to buy materials if they need. I could cut that down way less if I wanted to. It's also nice on the character's select screen where I can hover over the character and see if they have exactly 50,000 gold. Then I know they are done, so I won't have to log into them and see if they have sold everything or not. I follow that process for each of my alts until everything gets sold. After getting everything everything sold, the Warband Bank ends up at 2,221,076 gold, right around 180,000 gold from this round of 7 concentration alts. Not too bad. With the way concentration works, I can do that every 4 days. Throughout that, Monopoly Man kept up crafting, selling exquisite weaver cloth bolts. I did end up buying more base weaver cloth and ended up spending around 216,000 gold, but was able to make around 170,000 gold on him as well. So just about 350,000 gold in that 4 days from him and from my alts. I don't always buy and craft as many weaver cloth every week. I do make sure to get enough rank 2 storm dust for every concentration alt cycle. There's a ton of ways I could make this better. It isn't maxed out at all. The biggest opportunity for me is to set up the other 4 level 70 alts I have just sitting there and to continue growing the concentration alt army. For me, it really comes down to time, as I don't have a ton of time available to play WoW every day. That's pretty much it. If you found this video helpful, please remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Thank you guys again for all the great support. It really does blow my mind with how much great positive feedback I'm getting from you guys. Until next time.